The Super Nintendo had some amazing titles, releasing quality game after quality game, and with so many games, some of those titles are going to be overlooked, regardless of how great they actually are. Wild Guns is probably the best Super Nintendo game you have never played. So it's great that not only is it back on the Nintendo Switch for people to enjoy, but back better than ever with new characters, modes and levels. Wild Guns is a gallery shooter set in the criminally underused sci-fi western world, where you and up to 4 friends are tasked to take down heavily armed criminal gangs and robots in what Will Smith's Wild Wild West movie wished it was. Bullets, explosions and lasers rain down on you as you stand around and maneuver your characters into position to fire back. And it's not easy, not only because there is so much happening on screen at once, and keeping track of all of it is its own challenge, but movement options are limited, with your character, the shot cursor and dodging all on one control stick. Of course, on the Super Nintendo there wasn't much option but to do this, but with Reloaded, this can be a chore to get used to. They could have changed this, and it is a real chore to get used to, as you struggle to line up shots but are forced to put evasion first due to the game's one-hit kills. This means you are often leaping around the screen in a panic, slowly pulling your cursor down to attack, only for the enemy to move again. Of course, if you practice enough, you will learn the patterns and know where the cursor and your character should be at all times. Still, the first time you're playing this game, you can't help but wish for a twin stick option to move both yourself and your reticule at the same time. This option may make the game easier than intended, but for some, the simpler controls would increase the accessibility to the game and perhaps the enjoyment. Also, this remake would have been a perfect opportunity to spread out some of the controls rather than having so many moves just assigned to 2 buttons, and also adding analog controls so you're not overcompensating from slight tweaks of the cursor. Wild Guns is a very simple game to grasp, but its advanced moves like dodging to safety, slowing enemies with the lasso to score more hits, picking up dynamite to throw back at enemies, melee attacks and knowing when to trigger those screen clearing moves give it a hard to master style perfect for an arcade shooter like this. Although at first the controls can be clunky, give it time and you will adapt, giving you a game you can revisit on your own or with friends again and again to blow some stuff up. And there is plenty here to enjoy: boss rush modes, time and score attacks, 4-player co-op, several skill levels to tackle and online rankings for the hardcore players. The game for the most part allows you to play any level in order, which is a good thing because the game is pretty difficult until you know what you are doing. So having the ability to try different levels alleviates the frustration of dying in the same location over and over again and seeing the same level multiple times. So if you get a group of friends together who have never played the game before, you are able to see a good chunk of the game before everyone dies and they are stuck watching the experienced player. I say mostly because for some reason stage 1 is the only exception to this, where you must always finish the stage before the game allows you to pick any of the other stages. I always thought this was a little strange. The game can be pretty challenging. Get 4 skilled players together and you are going to have a blast, with a game kicking back as hard as you punch until you all get good enough to see what the game has to offer. But thankfully for the casual players, there is also a practice mode that removes game over screens so everyone can enjoy the game. But you will have to play the higher skill levels to qualify for the online ranking system, and this can be a real draw to the game. Put in the time to master it, and the ranking modes not only track individual scores, but also team scores, so you can assemble a posse of players and aim for top scores as a pair, triple threat or fatal 4, taking on the world records as a team, adding even more to replayability. There is no denying the beauty of this cult classic. Every level is brimming with life and detail, with something new to see each level. Bullets tear up the scenery and virtually everything is destructible, with loads of frames on enemy destruction to wow you. Locations and enemies are interesting to look at and packed with detail, with massive bosses sometimes filling the screen, and a friggin' cowboy dog with a gun turret! Wild Guns has some great characters to pick from. The 2 original stars return with Clint and Annie, but new characters add new twists on the gameplay, with Doris being the powerhouse, slower and more reliant on the dodging and the lasso. She can charge large radius attacks to deal massive damage if you find the time. And of course Bullets. Why isn't there more death dealing doggos in games? He moves more independently from his reticule, where you can lock your gun turret in place, destroying anything that steps into its sights, while you concentrate on survival of this little pupper. He is very happy to be here. Wild Guns is packed with ways to enjoy this SNES hidden gem, allowing people to challenge themselves or just have fun. The perfect arcade party game. It's the kind of game you have on your shelf when you need something for everyone to enjoy, or if you don't feel like playing anything else. It's the perfect length for an arcade shooter, but its multiplayer, difficulty challenges and perfecting tactics for those high scores, made even better by the team high score challenges, mean you will keep getting on the saddle again and again for one more rodeo. So what did you think of Wild Guns Reloaded? Chuck your thoughts in the comments below for people looking to see if it's worth a purchase. Are you tempted by this game, or do you have a question before you buy it? Get in touch here on YouTube, or on Discord, Facebook, or join us on Twitch, so you can be a part of the next Critical Hit. This is Bill on behalf of OLL Games, saying, much obliged for watching. See you down the road, partner.